me and him are watching up there in the press box, trying to figure out positions of formation, what's going on. And we can't get an exact idea, which I guess is pretty good for you. I mean, when everybody's moving around, it seems like it's positionless football. I mean, what's going on in your mind to make the formation work? Is it like chess pieces or?
Actually, that's a good question in light of the adjustments that Damon Nahas made at the half, along with Nathan Thackeray. Because basically, if you look at the first half, we were outshot 8-4. And the second half, we outshot them 17-0. So basically, the adjustments that Nathan made is they changed our formation from a 3-2-2-3 to a 4-1-3-2. And then if you look at last year, the biggest concern I had with our performances last year, we weren't good in the end game. In other words, we were winning in almost all these games. We were ahead against Virginia 2-0 and lost 3-2. We were beating UCLA, I think, actually 2-0 and then lost 3-2 in overtime. So if you look at some of the run we had last year, we weren't really good at securing a lead. So Damon came up with a sort of end game system we were going to play. But the biggest adjustment that made all the difference in this game, in my opinion, was the adjustment he made at the half, which was we played a 4-1-3-2. And what was really significant about that is we took the game over. So we go from being outshot 8-4 in the first half to outshooting Virginia Tech 17-0 in the second half. That is an incredible difference in shooting. Because keep in mind, this team beat us last year. And so it's not like they didn't have the talent to challenge us. They did. In the first half they did. They made it hard for us. So that tactical adjustment that Damon made at the half was significant. And the other thing that was significant was the performance of 4 different players. Obviously, we always know what we're going to get out of Sentinor and Avery Patterson. These are 2 of the best players in college soccer. But the adjustment that we made was in the end game, last 15 minutes, we played a 4-2, and the 2 sitting on the 4 were the girl that scored the goal, Evelyn Shores, and also Talia Della Peruta. Talia's first half performance was so good that she won the start in the second half. And then Sam Meza returned to where she's incredibly comfortable, which is right smack dab in the middle of midfield. And she's the kind of player that's so skillful, she doesn't need time and space to play. You can surround her with opponents, and she is so crafty and creative that she's going to solve the problems for you. But also, she's got such an amazing defensive presence. She also has a huge impact. I would give 3 stars to 4 players. That was Macy Bell's best attacking performance. On the ball, the decisions she made were wonderful. She was finding Avery Patterson from right center back to left wing. That direct ball into Avery was devastating. She was also very good at finding Sam Meza and Talia and Evelyn Shores basically in the pivot in the middle of midfield. So I thought that was, in terms of attack, that was Macy Bell's best game. And then I can't say enough about Talia and Evelyn Shores and Sam Meza in the triangle in the middle, basically the 2 sitting on the 4 and the 1 in the middle of the 3. Because the end game was that 4-2-3-1 with Sam in the middle of the 3 and Talia and Evelyn Shores as the 6s on top of the 4. And they were magnificent, and they helped us make sure that the game was secure.
Right. Who's the 4th defender?
What?
Who's the 4th defender?
Mox.
Mox
dropped to right back from the 6, where we played her in the first half. And then Macy Bell sort of played the right center back. Savvy King played the left center back. And then we alternated Emerson and Tessa Delarose at left back.
So the 4-2-3-1, is that going to continue on to the next game, or are y'all going to go back to what y'all were doing previously?
No, I think we're going to look at this and think this could be our system. Obviously, the dilemma we have now is we're missing some players because it looks like Olivia Thomas is banged up a bit, so she'll be out for a while. Someone that could play in her place, Izzy Cox is also a little banged up. And then, this is a wonderful honor for her and for us. Tori Della Peruta has been invited into the U23 national youth team to represent Italy against the Netherlands and Sweden. So she'll be gone on Monday, so we'll be missing her for Virginia and for Florida State.
Olivia, what's she dealing with?
She, when she ran through the Alabama defense near the end of the game, her calf popped. So she's got a bit of a calf issue.
So you talk about missing players and then maybe finding something tactically that you can carry forward. Going into 2 huge conference games next week, Charlottesville and then back here against Florida State, how do you go about preparing for those matches? What's the focus in training heading up?
Yeah, we're going to look at the systems we just played and consider playing them. We're going to look at the adjustments we've got to make without our starting 9 and our reserve 9 and start to shift people around a bit. So we've got some work to do in preparation for both games.
Now you made a formation shift at the end of last season, didn't you? Before the postseason last season?
I think it was during the Georgia game we played with a new formation, right?
Yeah, we may have. This is where you never want to underestimate the tactical genius of Damon Nahas. His adjustment at the half, isn't that an incredible difference? We're down 8-4 in shots. We make an adjustment. And then in the shot total, it's at 17-0. In other words, they don't even get a shot off. And we're peppering the goal. And by the way, obviously it could have been a lot worse than 1-0.
But you hadn't been outshot in a half all season before the first half.
Correct. Exactly right. So I think that's a significant adjustment that we made after seeing the challenge we had in the first half. Hang on, this is my first wife. If I don't return the call, she may end up with my first wife. Would you like to talk to the press?
Where are you?
I'm speaking to 4 people in the press. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Who are you?
Jonathan Collins.
Who are you?
Harry Crowther, Noah Monroe.
You just met the press. Do you want to say anything to them? Okay, baby. Bye, honey. I can't believe it. She doesn't want to talk to any of you. I don't know what you guys have done to piss her off, but there you go.
You want to talk to us. Apparently we're doing something good.
Well,
Say that again?
You're talking to us for so long. Apparently we're doing something good to keep you here.
Yeah, she's pissed at you. That's why I gave her your names.
what is it against Virginia about Virginia Tech? They beat you last year. They tied you 2 years ago. Is something about that matchup or the way they play?
Yeah, Blacksburg is a very difficult place to play. And also, they like to play us like at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. And it just ruins our passion for living. So if you're in Blacksburg all weekend and you've been sitting around all day waiting for a game, your mood is absolutely sour. So they have a very clever methodology to drive us BS crazy.
Can you take us through the goal? Was it Avery who had the long strike that the goalie bobbled?
Oh, just now?
Oh yeah, on the goal.
Today's goal?
Yeah.
I have no clue. All I know is that Evelyn Shores smashed it in.
Chaos.
Yeah.
I have one more question about Avery. You mentioned her earlier. I saw in the first half she was on the near touchline to me, the left side, and then the next minute she's popping up on the far corner flag. Like I just, for me, someone who's that positionless, and a lot of the players were like that. I'm just wondering if that's kind of by design or how you go about giving your players so much freedom in the system.
Basically, there are philosophies of the game, and the positions are fluid, as you mentioned earlier. So the whole idea on the attack is to have width. So at least one person in one of your 3 lines has to give you width. If you're playing a 4-back, your width can be through the back. If you're playing with a box midfield, maybe one of your 6s pops out there, maybe one of your 10s. Obviously, with a 3 front, you're always going to have width with your 7s and your 11s. So basically, the whole philosophy is to have at least one player as wide as possible to pin an opponent. So pinning an opponent is, oh my gosh, they're so worried about Maddie dominating right wing that they send their left back out to mark the tightening. And now there's a huge channel between the left back for Virginia Tech and the left center back. that your 10 shoots through. And what we did a very good job of in the second half was that ball. Our 10 was making the run when Avery had pinned their right back here against the sideline, and we were knocking balls through. And there was one great ball into Senor, there's another great ball into San Meza. And so that's what you want to do, is you want to make it difficult for the other team to stop you. And I think with that sort of tactical sophistication, and if we play with that sort of tactical sophistication, I think we're going to be a very difficult team to match up against.
Did you have a shorter bench in the second half?
Yeah, we didn't play as many because things were working. So when things are working, the only player that needed some rest because she's still recovering from her injuries from the fall in last spring is Talia Della Peruta. And who do we put in there? We put in Evelyn Shores. And it's one of these things where we subbed her in, she scored immediately. So we just pulled Talia because Talia was looking like she was fatiguing a bit. And then we left Evelyn in the rest of the game and then subbed Talia back in when she had her breath, subbed Emily Colton back in when she had her breath. And then that was our lockdown last 15 minutes, the 4, 2, 3, 1.
Short of the Lenore Ryan game, was that the fewest players you played in a half this season?
The first half, or
the second half?
Yeah, I would say that was a very low number of players just to secure the victory. Yeah, because we actually had that strategy at the end of last year. We had 7 players at the end of last year in the NCAA tournament that played 90 minutes a game. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're only rotating 4 players.
Talking about the defense, I've noticed throughout the season that usually the opponent's shots aren't really quality shots. They're usually behind the box, beyond the box. I mean, it's really trying to test your defense. I mean, is that by design or is that just purely coincidental?
When they're shooting from distance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, almost every team we play against knows the odds of them getting in behind us or into our penalty box or remote. So they'll just, shoot and pray from distance. But ideally, as any soccer expert will tell you, your finishing percentages rise dramatically if you're inside 18. They also rise again if you're inside 12. And then the percentages really go through the roof if you're shooting inside 6.
What do you think you're going to learn about your team next week? Those 2 matches against ranked opponents. What do you hope and what do you think you're going to learn about your team next week?
We've already played a lot of ranked opponents. I don't know if you've looked at our schedule yet, but we're basically playing the top 10 this year. So we've played some teams in the top 10. We're going to play more. We're going to be fine. We've already learned all we need to know about them. And now it's a question of keeping them healthy and then making tactical adjustments like we did today to put us in a position of advantage.
I asked you what goes on inside your head. What is going inside Damon's head to make those necessary changes to help y'all win the game?
What he's doing is he's looking at the game. And so what he saw early, along with Nathan, and Nathan's also an absolutely wonderful assistant, is they saw that we were basically marking 3 players with 5. So our back 3 and our 2 6s were playing between their 3 front runners and our goal. That's a real waste of personnel. So what they did to correct that is we took 4 of our players and put them underneath the 3, and then took Talia and put her on the other side of the 3. So now we've got a 3 against 4. And obviously defensively you always want to have numerical superiority. But then we also put a line of 3 with 1 up high, and that player that was up high is now basically attracting 2 center backs. So that's fine with us, because then the numerical, advantages we had in the different lines completely changed once we made that switch.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Anson.